All right, all right. I want to welcome everybody to a brand new episode of the Melanated Convo podcast. I want to welcome everybody for tuning in today. Just so you know, the Melanated Convo podcast is a podcast where we interview interesting individuals from our community that are basically chasing their dreams. They can be a creator, they can be a writer, they can be an artist, business owner, or just a parent with a really interesting story, because the point of it is to create inspiration, be inspired by each other, and learn from each other, right? So we do that on the podcast, and that's the biggest focus. We also like to touch on news stories that have impacted our community or, things that I feel we should address. Sometimes it's even giving you guys information about a brand new business that you may not be aware of. Also, on the show today, I have a really special interview for you guys. I have a young man named Jalani Lion, who is a musician. He's an artist. He is up and coming and really on the grind right now. So I can't wait to get into the conversation with him. I think you guys are going to love his story and be, intrigued by how he puts everything down. All right. So let's get everything started. And this is your boy H. Anderson on the check-in, just in case you was wondering. So the first story that I wanted to talk about, something that I've been seeing in the news lately, that's been really on my mind, looking at the current situation with R&B singer R. Kelly. I'm sure, if you haven't been living under a rock, everybody knows by now what's been going on with the brother. On July 11th, he was arrested again, I think on racketeering charges. He's being held right now in the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Chicago, on 18 federal charges stemming from a 13-page indictment that they brought about the brother. In the indictment, there's child porn, sexual exploitation of a child, kidnapping, forced labor, all this different shit, right? And here's the thing, man. If R. Kelly mistreated an underage woman, let's just be completely clear. That's a no-brainer. Of course, some type of punishment should be handed down. Of course, there should be some type of, that situation should be rectified some way, whether the brother gets counseling, whether he does time, and whatever the case may be, right? But here's the thing. Being a black man in America, a melanated man in America, it's difficult for me to overlook all of the people before him who just so happen to be white that haven't quite got the same publicity or the slander and punishment. We can go all the way back to Thomas Jefferson, a relationship with Sally Heming. That was an underage girl. That's just one example, but that's been happening throughout history. Woody Allen, Roman Polanski, Harvey Weinstein, of course. There's been several Caucasian white men of stature that have been pretty much able to use their celebrity and their fame to not quite get away with it, but not be hit with some of the shit that R. Kelly's being hit with right now. So I can't sit by and just not speak on that, man, because I love his music. He has been a big part of our culture for a really long time. I don't have daughters, I have all sons, but I have nieces and I have young women around me, and I do something to somebody who messed with one of my nieces or one of the younger women around me. So I get any family member who's involved in that feel like he's the scum of the earth or whatever the case may be. I understand that shit, but it's when society pushes an issue on me, it always makes me feel uncomfortable, because we've been knowing about R. Kelly. We've been knowing about the things that he was doing with Aaliyah. This can be rumored or, just the rumors that were out there at the time, but we knew about a lot of this stuff. I don't like the fact that the media can put a battery in our back and all of a sudden I know people screaming that they hate him, when before these new allegations came out, before all this new shit came out, they was on this bandwagon listening to his music, rocking with him. So I don't like that wishy-washy shit, man. I don't like how society tries to pit us against certain people. And a lot of times when it's somebody black, we've already been through a lot of shit. So it just rubs me the wrong way. So I hope that brother gets all the help that he needs. I hope if there's any young woman that he actually scarred, actually abused, who's dealing with that, I hope she gets the help that she needs and this gets reconciled any way that it can. But I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm against the brother when I've been rocking with him and I don't know if any of that shit is true, just to keep it real. Now, next story that I wanted to get to, something very, very interesting, right? Now, we know in the black community, ramen noodles has always been like a staple in our community. It's like something really cheap to eat. Well, I found an extremely interesting news story about a brother named Ron Freeman who created basically his own ramen noodle line. And as I'm told here, this is the first black-owned instant ramen noodle brand. It's called Mama Pat's Foods. And, it's a really good story because the brother was in prison. He was doing like 3 years in the San Diego prison. He noticed how valuable the noodles were in prison and how the inmates reacted to having noodles. So, what I'm saying, he came up with an idea to create his own noodle brand. He has flavors like seafood gumbo, chicken taco, chicken fajita. And another reason why he wanted to create the brand, because he wanted to create something that was a lot healthier than what the competitors sell. Typically, ramen noodles is high in sodium, is linked to high cholesterol, high blood pressure, diabetes, even hypertension. So he decided to create an instant ramen noodle product that would be low in sodium, salt-free, and so far it's been widely successful for him. So if any of my family out there, if you're still eating ramen noodles, which I ain't gonna lie, I do sometimes, I tear some noodles up. So if you still eat noodles too, do me a favor, go to my boy's website. The website for Ron Freeman's Mama Pat's Noodles or Mama Pat's Foods rather is mamapatsfoods.com. That's MAMAPATS foods.com. Check it out. If, like I said, if you still eat noodles, please try to support the brother. Good. Now, on to the interview. Like I said, I'm really excited about the interview today. I have a young brother who resides in Kingston, New York. I put out a message to my family about people in our community that was grinding and doing positive things with their creation, whatever they create. And someone gave me some information about the brother. I looked him up and seen that he, from the looks of everything, he has a strong passion for his music. He's constantly putting out new music, new visuals, doing shows. So it looks like he's taken all of the steps necessary to be a successful artist. I want to welcome on the show today, Jalani Lion. How you doing today, brother?
I'm good, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to talk on your podcast, man.
No problem. No problem.
Before we get into anything, I just want to let you know that, like I just said, I'm honored to be on your podcast, and I really, really, really respect what you're doing as far as spreading awareness on everything in the black culture, like touching the R. Kelly subject, touching the black-owned ramen noodles, and like especially definitely not just for me, like how you're bringing individuals onto the show to bring light to like melanated fathers, melanated people. Like, so thank you very much for what you're doing, and I hope that you keep doing it. I hope that you like reach the success that you're looking for, because I have faith that you will. And like the world needs what you're doing. So thank you very much.
Oh man, thank you, brother. I definitely appreciate that. And just like you, Jelani, I'm gonna keep grinding, man. So we're gonna do this thing together. Now, for the first question. First thing I wanted to ask you, so tell everybody out there, talk to us a little bit about where you grew up.
I'm from Kingston, New York, a small city in New York. It's 2 hours away from New York City, 1 hour away from the capital, Albany, New York. Kingston, New York is a it's a complicated place. There's different aspects of Kingston. So, like I said, I was born here, and it's a majority white people based city. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was in elementary school, I was like one of the two black kids in my class. So it's like, if I'm trying to paint the picture for you guys, like it's that type of city. Like when I was in high school, there were maybe 100 black people, black kids in each grade. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it was like that. So it's like as a kid, I don't think the same way I used to think as a kid, because like a lot of things like what like went over my head, or I was like blindfolded to a lot of things, like especially like with the white and the black like people. You know what I'm saying? Like so like my vision or my opinion like on policemen are different. Like when I was a child, like policemen were like my heroes. Like they were thought of as the good guys. This and third. Not to say like all policemen are bad or all policemen are good, but like I see now that that's not truly the case. You know what I mean? Especially like with my own experiences and with like experiences or like crimes and like in the society on the news every day. So it's just like things like that of that nature is different. A lot of times, like racism, like as a kid, racism is not like something that's on your mind, but like as an adult, you see it more. You're more aware, and like you come by it, and like you can acknowledge it. You can know what it is. You can you're familiar with it. So like that's those are the little differences. So like in the Kingston again, it's like that's just one aspect of how like complicated and like how Kingston is. Another part that plays into Kingston is like Kingston is not the most supportive town, most supportive city. So, but when someone wins in Kingston, that's when the support comes. Like when you reach that stardom, when you reach that fame, when you reach that like those accolades, those cosigns, that's when Kingston is right there for you. So it's like it's not so bad. It's only somewhat bad or somewhat shitty, somewhat like you have to beat adversity. You have to beat like hardships. You have to beat like you have to knock down doors, like opportunities, different stuff like that. But like in that aspect, the support would be great in the through the struggle process or through your like the beginning process stages. But like I said, when you do make that win, when you do knock down those doors, and when you do win, that is when Kingston shows the most love. And another time when Kingston shows the most love is when, unfortunately, when there's a tragedy, like death or like something terrible happens. Like that is when I feel when Kingston is at its strongest point when it comes to like coming together with unity and being there for one another. Unfortunately, but like what I've been trying to do lately, as of late, like recently, is have these events and have these music videos and have these different things to bring the city of Kingston together. Like I said, it's not been it's been hard, and it's not been like the easiest thing to do, but like slowly but surely people are seeing that this is something positive I'm trying to bring to the table. And like it's not a death, there's not a tragedy, there's something we can like, we don't only have to come together for funerals or for like to stand up for ourselves. We can come together to have a good time, to rejoice with one another, to cherish the time we have together, like whether it be loved ones or friends or families or like coworkers or old classmates and whatnot. So it's a process, but I feel like if, just like I told you to keep doing what you're doing, if I keep doing what I'm doing, it will be a reality. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Now, something I wanted to address. This wasn't one of my initial questions, but for some reason, I guess through my ignorance, I felt that Kingston, New York would be like, because I'm thinking Kingston, Jamaica. So I'm thinking maybe that's the part of New York where the Jamaican population frequents. So you're telling me it's almost the opposite. Kingston was
it's almost the opposite.
Pretty much a white town almost.
Yeah. It's pretty much the opposite. It's not. There are more like whiter towns, for lack of better words, like a Pine Bush, New York, or a Monroe, Woodbury, New York. But like Kingston is far from Kingston, Jamaica. Like there's not as much danger. There's definitely not as much black people. So it's like That's the difference. There's the one similarity is like there's a in Kingston, Jamaica, there's like a traffic circle. There's a traffic circle in Kingston, New York. So like that's one thing I find funny about it. But besides that, not they're opposites, polar
Okay.
opposites.
All right. Now, another question I have for you, just really quickly. Another thing I'm just thinking about. Growing up, Jelani, in your household, in Kingston, New York, did you grow up with like both parents? Tell me a little bit about the dynamics of your household growing up.
I'm glad you asked. I didn't grow up with both parents. My father was in the picture, I think, until like the age of 2, 3, and he popped in and out the picture like through my childhood. Some visits, some vacations, this, that, and third. But I was majorly taken care of by my mother. But like, even though my father wasn't there, I had 3 older brothers. I have 3 older brothers and 1 younger brother. So I had 3 father figures, and plus my mom, who was a mother and a father to me. So I still had father figures. I still had a mom and a dad in a sense. If that makes sense.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Interesting. Now, something else here. Have you ever been able to rekindle a relationship with your dad, or where do you guys stand today?
We don't speak.
Hmm.
So like we don't really talk. Like he doesn't reach out. I don't reach out. So it's like it's that standpoint. I plan in the future to reach out when I like, because like we haven't talked in maybe like 5, 6 years or so. Like, but like it's not. It's just he's doing his own thing. I'm doing my own thing. And you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like not even just in my situation, but in anyone's situation, it's not the child's place to try to, like, you know what I'm saying, to like make that relationship. Like I have a child of my own. Like I have a daughter. So like I would never make it her responsibility to have the relationship with me. Like I'm her father. So that's my responsibility.
Definitely. I completely understand that. And I grew up in a similar situation where I had older brothers who were able to guide me and show me a lot of the things to do and not to do to a degree. So I
Exactly.
completely understand what you're saying, and I'm sure like you just spoke on, you're kind of using that situation to be a better parent yourself. So that's always good.
Yeah, you said it perfect, bro. Like you said it like the fact, and it's like it's so, especially because as a creative, I think about it like unintentionally. I think about it so many different ways, like because of the fact I didn't have a dad. I really like that's the one thing like in life that I truly aim to be like the best at, or like do my best to be the best, or definitely make sure that my daughter loves her and that I care about her. Like she's my best friend, this, that, and the third, because that's something that I lack. But also with knowing what it is to not have a father, but also knowing what it is to want a father, and even like loving, like I love my dad. I loved my father for like, even though he wasn't there, you know what I mean? Even though I missed him, I wanted him, this, that, and the third. I know that like my daughter and I like she doesn't live with me. Mainly her mother lived, like she mainly lives with her mother because we have like a court setup like deal. Like she lives in Virginia. We have like a long distance type deal. But like even though I'm not with her every day as I planned, I know that the time that we do spend is time that she cherishes because I've been in those shoes. You know what I mean? So like it's like she's gonna get way more than what I got. So you know what I'm saying? Like I know that it will be alright, especially because there's a thing about a mother, like a daughter and her father. You know what I mean? It's like that relationship, that bond is like, it's unbreakable if it's taken care of and cherished and like nurtured and all of that. You know what I mean?
Definitely. I completely understand what you're saying, bro. And just talking to you, you seem like a young brother that's on the right track. So yeah, just keep doing what you're doing, man. And you know how it is in our community, bro. You have a situation where you speak to the fact that your father wasn't there. My father passed away when I was
Oh,
8 years
sorry.
old. Yeah, when I was like 8 years old. A lot of my friends in my community that I grew up in, only a couple of us have fathers in the home. So I think that's all we can do, man, is try our best to be present as much as possible and provide every resource that we have available to us.
Yeah, it's like I don't. It's like there's so many different things, aspects about our culture that is just like not mind-boggling, but like interesting, somewhat mind-boggling. Like it's like, so like I had no father, so like
Mm-hmm.
that is basically the fuel for me to be the best father I can be.
Mm-hmm.
But like another person in our culture might have not had that father, and it in turn feels like that's normal to be
Yes.
like to be that to turn into that dad. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And that's, to me, that's weird, but to another, that's normal. That's life. You know what I mean? So it's just like,
Yep.
it's one or the other.
Yep. I've seen that several times, Jelani, where a young man will have a horrible or just a horrible experience with his father, and
Mm.
then he has a child. And I think what no one talks about is we have a horrible father or a father who was not there, so no guidance from a man's point of view, and then we have a
Mm.
child without no without no damn school or no lessons or anything on how to be a father. So in return, sometimes I think we end up being kind of absent, just like our father was, because we don't really have the tools. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
That's why I try my best to talk about these things because, in my opinion, young men, if you get a group of 22, 23-year-old, 25-year-old guys around them and they're talking, if all of them have kids, from what I've seen, I don't think they speak about the tools they're using to do certain things, or talking about how do you manage it when your son or daughter's 2 years old and they do this or they do that. So sometimes we're not having conversations because of just how men are.
Yeah,
Sometimes
yeah.
I think we're not having conversations about things that can help us and be more productive because kids don't have a manual, bro. So we're
Mm.
just kind of winging it a lot of times, doing what we think is right.
Yeah, I definitely feel what you're saying. That makes sense.
Yep. All right. Now, next question. I want to get into your music a little bit.
Okay.
I want to ask you, so tell everybody, how long have you been doing music?
I have been I want to say I've been doing music seriously for about, 2019? I would say seriously 2 years.
2 years.
That's when I
Okay.
started taking it serious. There's like people in my city, especially peers of mine, like remind me, I used to do like, record little raps on my phone or whatever and put them on YouTube, just for fun, just to like to get a laugh, or like like be like that person in like high school. But like I never took it serious until like 2 years prior to like today.
Okay. Okay. So that's interesting because in 2 years' time, of course, I don't know all the details of what's been going on with you, but in
Mm.
2 years' time, it looks like you've been able to do shows. It just looks like you're beginning to make an impact.
Yeah, I'm trying the best I can, man. I don't have a label, a manager. It's really just me out here, like
Hmm.
grinding and putting my mind to it, like seeing, like looking from it far at like the successful people, whether they be on the rise or in the industry or in, like, you know what I'm saying, famous. Like I just try to study as best as I can and apply it
Hmm.
to myself. So that's basically it.
Definitely, definitely. And I definitely had an opportunity to listen to the singles that you put out. I really liked that the middle child freestyle that you did. The video for it was dope too. Um, right here, I think it's a really, really melodic and just sonically, it sounds good. So tell
Mm-hmm.
me, how did you come up with your style? Like how you approach making music? How'd you formulate that?
I honestly, even though I've been doing this for 2 years and I like have like established like my sound, I still feel, especially because like art is my first craft and like music is my second craft. Like I'm way, 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 way more comfortable with art than I am with music. Not that I'm not comfortable with music, but like I can do like art in my sleep. But like with music, I really need to focus and like put myself in situations and think of perspectives and think of like wordplay and like you know what I'm saying, like it's more in depth. So like I try to like make it like try to perfect it like more and more ways, a lot more than I do with art or whatever. But so yeah, as far as my style, it really depends on what I hear in a beat. Like if I'm given a beat, like say it's a slower beat or like a melodic beat, like I for one like a song with a catchy hook or a
Hmm.
melodic hook. You know what I'm saying? I for one, like if I'm going to sing or like have a like melodic song, layers is one thing that I'm big on, like making different melodies and stuff like that. Another, like the other aspect besides singing, or like aside from singing, is like the rapping part. Like with rapping, I'm a fan of lyricists. I'm a fan of like
Hmm.
wordplay. I'm a fan of like wittiness, like not catchphrases, punchlines. Like, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like, so all those different things, like my biggest influences or my biggest inspirations are J. Cole, Drake, Nas is just like disgusting. Eminem is disgusting. So like Joyner Lucas, Tory Lanez, so a whole bunch of different people are like I like monsters when it comes to it. So like I'm less of like a Lil Pump, but more of like I try to like make my music on the level of like Tory Lanez and Joyner Lucas and Drake and J. Cole and Big Sean and
Yeah.
Wale and
Yeah.
think like those type of people.
Definitely. And it's funny you say that because I'm 39 years old, almost 40. I've been listening to hip hop since I was 15, 16 years old. So I've been
Okay.
listening to hip hop since the 90s. So I'm really well versed in what I like and what I like to hear, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of the newer generation, that's why I asked what influenced your style, because I'll be honest, bro, when typically, and tell me how old are you again?
I'm 23.
Exactly. A lot of times when I listen to young dudes' music, it's just not for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I get a whole bunch of that shit now. So much I'm okay with it now, where I can
I get it. Yo,
I
that's
can
funny.
like a person, but not like the music.
That's funny. My cousin Miles, he's the same. He's the same way. He's like an older brother type to me. So like we always go back and forth with music and like different like the new age music, the new generation music, and the old generation music, and like in the in between. Also, like he's the same way when it comes to like the Lil Pumps, Lil Uzi, like he's not. They're not for him. But like
Exactly.
he's more of like a lyricist, a concept. Like he likes stuff that like resonates with him. You know what I mean? So something with a message.
Yep, and I can definitely tell
But
that you put a little more thought into what you do, and so I definitely like it. That's why I asked.
And that's what's funny is that's the not the tricky part, but it's like that's what I deal with. Like being 23, like I want my music to have thought, but I also want it to like do well with the younger generation. So like a song like Right Here, like there's definitely thought into it, but it's fun enough for the younger generation. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to like balance.
Yep.
So definitely like
Perfect.
I take both into account because like for me, like I like a J. Cole, like I like a Nas, I like a Tory Lanez, a Joel Ortiz, or like those spitters. But I also like because I'm like young enough, I like get the interest. Not that I'm like so super in love with it, but I definitely get the interest in like a Lil Uzi or who else is like a Lil. Anyway, like for Lil Uzi, not Lil Yachty, but that type of mumble, quote unquote mumble rap. Like I'm not like in my generation, like the younger generation loves Young Thug. I'm not the hugest Young Thug like fan or whatever, but I get the interest in him. Like I get like that's what your taste is. So like I kind of get it, being that like you're like a peer, so I can put myself in those situations. Especially like the younger generation is like into like drinking, smoking, popping pills, like all types of different shit. So like if I was like high or some shit like that, or like drunk or some shit like that, like then I could definitely understand like, oh, this is why you like it, like because it's like it's somewhat catchy, has a good beat. That's I feel like that's what most of the new generation type music is like, basically a dope beat with like simple like turn up shit.
Definitely. Now, you mentioned because I was gonna ask this anyway, but you mentioned that your first love is art, and I was able to go like to your Instagram, and that was like extremely dope shit, bro. Like looking at some of your artwork, it's really crisp. How long have you been doing art?
You know, with art, that's why like I said, it's like art. I can do art in my sleep or whatever because I've been doing. I guess you can say I've been doing art. Like I started drawing like as a little kid because I was like drawn to like cartoons, anime, different things like that. So I was drawing like Dragon Ball Z and Naruto when I was like maybe 10 or younger. So like, but it wasn't until I reached high school that I like learned that you can like really make a craft and a career with art. You know what I'm saying? Like doing people's logos, doing people's music covers, doing people's clothing designs, just doing portraits of people, all different stuff like that. So it's like there's really like a lane of like for it to be like a way of income. And like that since then is when I started taking art seriously. Since high school, I've been doing logos, music covers, clothing designs, paintings, murals, like you name it.
Good. Okay, yeah, because I was looking at some of your stuff. I was looking at some of the people you've been able to work with, and I was like, damn, okay, it looks really official and professional. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Like that coming from like we don't you're like damn near a stranger to me. So I appreciate that. That's how you took it. That's how you like see it. So that means a lot.
No
Trying my
problem.
hardest out here.
Yep, and I need we may have to talk offline about a few things because I'm in need of some logos and different things done too. So yeah,
Trust and believe. I am your man.
definitely, definitely. All right, now something else I want to touch on. So you said you've been rapping seriously, or taking the craft of music seriously for about 2 years. But
Mm-hmm.
I was able to see a video where you were able to go to your old elementary school and speak to the kids. Man, how did that feel?
Yeah, that was fun. That was great. I got to first. What happened was I performed in my elementary school, Chambers Elementary, like at the end of June, but it was last year at the end of December that I reached out to my old music teacher, because what's so funny is like she loved me in music when I was a kid, and then I was good at art as a kid. So it was like so like now it's like super funny to talk about. It's almost like chilling or whatever. But one of I was like in 5th grade where I told her like she asked me what I wanted to be when I grow up. And I was like, because I was a kid, I didn't want to like hurt her feelings. I felt I was more good at art than music. So I really wanted to tell her I wanted to be like an artist. But so to compromise the two crafts, I told her that I want to be a singer because she was a music teacher, and that I would like design or like draw my own covers, like album covers and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And now I like kind of brought it to fruition, like super unintentionally, but like, you know what I mean? So I think that's funny in itself. But going back there, seeing my old teachers still there, and like the lunch monitors, they showed mad love, and like the kids were great. A couple of my nieces and nephews go to Chambers Elementary School, so that was fun.
Cool.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it was like
Yeah.
it was like full circle moment, and I performed my single Mama.
I seen
And
it. Yeah.
yeah, basically, and I kind of like it's in this at this stage of my life, it's or stage of my career, stage of like right now where I'm at is like a whole bunch of finessing. So like with how I was able to, some people ask me like, how were you able to perform that song at a Chambers, like at an elementary school? So I like go to my engineer and tell him I need a clean version to perform a performing clean version, and that's how I performed at a public restaurant, how I performed at the elementary school, because the message itself is a good message. There's a few curse words that wouldn't be appropriate for children, of course. So that was like how I got around that, like made like a little loophole for myself. So, but it was great. The kids loved it. I got great feedback. The teacher told me they loved it. The kids told me they loved it, and it was just a good time.
Yeah, and I'm sure, as you grind and trying to get everything established, I'm sure that acted as like a motivating factor.
Yeah, because where I'm at right now, I definitely haven't made it, but I'm definitely not where I started. So there are people that tell me that I inspire them, or I'm motivational, or like they, not that they look up to me, but like they appreciate what I'm doing. They like love what I'm doing. Like they show love. So like that's why I kind of took, when I had that elementary performance, like performing at the elementary school, I like took advantage to speak to the kids and like tell them that I use Barack Obama as an example, because when I told them when I was a kid, I first asked them who was the last president before our president right now. They told me Barack Obama, and I told them, like, I asked them what his job was. This is the president. I told them when I was their age, when I was in the elementary school, at the same elementary school as them, there was no such thing as a black president.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So with that being said, I was basically telling them they can do whatever that they want. Like they can grow up with this, as long as they put their mind to it and their hearts in it. Like they can be whatever they want. They can be like a firefighter, a policeman, a doctor, the first woman president. You know what I mean? Like different things like that. Like everything is reachable if you work at it. You know what I'm saying? So that was my main point. And then I performed my song, and then, you know what I'm saying, I just tied it in together.
That's dope, man. That was extremely dope to see. And just as someone who's attempting to establish a platform as well, every bit of encouragement that you get along the way acts as fuel to kind of keep you going. Because at times, if you're doing something and maybe your heart's in it, but there's no financial gain or something, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it can feel kind of, like, what am I doing? So to get
Mm-hmm.
anyone that's like, hey, I like what you're doing, or keep it up, that shit can act as fuel, like I said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Correct.
Yep.
Exactly correct.
All right. Now, another question I have for you, a couple more questions here. Tell
Okay.
me, what are the future plans for your music? You got an album coming? Do you got like some group projects or something coming?
As far as an album, I may do an album project next year because it's gonna be 2020. I feel like that's super appropriate to like
Hmm.
drop like a real project. People have been asking me, "Am I working on a project? Am I doing this? Am I doing that?" Lately, I've been just doing singles because I've been advised that like singles are easier, definitely easier digested than a whole album. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
more appreciated, more like definitely more appreciated. So that's why I've been doing the singles and the music videos for the singles and the shows and this, that, and the third. Like, so like I definitely want to do an album. I definitely want to do like I could definitely do an EP, but I would definitely want to do a project on an album, but I would want it to like have the most impact. You know what I'm saying? Like right now my following is good, but it's not great. It's not like I have different following, like different parts of America. There's different following outside of America, like overseas and different stuff like that. But I want it to be like super like grown before I drop like a real project. You know what I'm saying? Like I want it to be like, cause I would obviously put my like full effort into it, and I would want it to be like heard by the most people. You know what I mean? That like that's basically where I'm at right now. I have a show August 3rd in Kingston, New York, and I plan on performing some unreleased music.
Okay, cool, man. Good, good, good. Because like I said, I was able to check the singles out, and they all sound real good. So yeah, just keep on grinding, bro. You'll definitely get to where you want to go. A lot of times, because you're right, like hip hop, like when I was coming up, you know, there weren't many rappers because at that time, I mean, you had to book studio time. It wasn't something you can just do in your house. So the
Mm-hmm.
access of actually being able to make a song wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the value system was a little bit different too, because they knew if I write this rap, shit, I'm gonna have to pay some money, go all the way
Yeah,
to the studio just so I can lay the track. So I better be serious about it. You know what I'm saying? So it
yeah,
looks like now the young men that I see that become the most successful is the people that just don't stop, man. Sometimes
yeah,
that be the distinguishing factor between somebody who makes it, quote unquote, and somebody who doesn't, because making it is relative to the person. You see what I'm saying? Like
yes,
how big you become, that's all based on how you view life. You could be
yeah,
a
exactly.
superstar and just be that in your town, or you know what I'm saying? So I think,
Mm.
I'm happy to see what you're doing, bro, and keep on grinding. Now, last question I wanted to ask you, since this is the Melanated Convo podcast, but my complete platform is
Yeah,
Melanated Fathers of America, that tries to focus on family and parenting through the lens of a black father or melanated father, right?
yeah.
So knowing that you have your child, a question I wanted to ask you is, how has your perception on life, on love, on relationships in general, how has that changed since you had your child?
I would say it's changed completely, and it changes every day. Like I feel like even though I had Genesis being my daughter, I had her early, like at 20. It's
Hmm.
definitely been probably the greatest positive blessing that I've ever had, and like especially like mentally, like I've been through like trials and tribulation dealing with dealing with like custody and different things like that of that
Yeah.
nature, but it's ultimately shaped my mind, having like her herself and like caring about her and wanting the best for her and like making sure that like I know what I've dealt with as a black man, knowing that one day as a black girl, as a black woman, she's gonna have problems to deal with herself. So it's just
Hmm.
like it's all fascinating. It's all like a process, and it's all like it's all taken into account. So like, but like there have been times in that I just could get the greatest joy seeing her do the things that she does. So like even like bringing it back to my craft or whatever, she loves my music. Like she'll sing Mama, and she'll sing Right Here. She'll sing different
Hmm.
songs, like, and then she'll tell me, Daddy, I like this song. And like I even had her when I performed at the restaurant in Kingston, New York, she was there and she
Yeah.
like performed with me. She like danced around me with her cousin Blaze. just beautiful. Like as a father and as someone that grew up without a father, it's just like
Mm-hmm.
it's like times 1,000 that like than like the norm, I would believe. You know what I mean? So it's just like it's all positive, it's all great. Like there's obviously there's the ups and downs,
Of
but
course.
I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Of course. It's all about those moments, right?
Of
Yeah,
course.
yeah. Because like I said, bro, I have 5 kids myself. The oldest being 21 years old. And
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes when, fathers are in situations where they may not be in their child's life for whatever reason, and it could be money, it could be something they're going through mentally, whatever the case may be. But when you miss those moments, you never get those moments back. And
Yeah,
those are like engraved in your memory. Those are something those are things that you and your child can share forever. Like, I think as I get older and I think about the relationship with my children, I don't think so much of money and different things like that as much as I can recall just great moments that we've had together, you know?
of course, of course. But
Yep.
yeah, so like, and she'll always like Genesis. She'll always have those memories, even though she's 3 years old right now. But say something like, God forbid something happens to me. That's something that I believe she'll always remember. You know what I mean? So like my my name is Jalani Lion. That comes from a few different things. Like my first name is truly Jalani, but the lion in my name comes from my mom's daycare,
Hmm.
partially from my mom's daycare, which is what has I have grown up in. Like, you know what I mean? Like I've been a part of the daycare and like seen the daycare since I was born. Like she was running the daycare for probably like 30, 40 years, 30, 35 years.
Hmm.
So like there was this one time I have, like I said, I have 3 older brothers and 1 younger brother. There was this one day that my older brother Jeffrey, we were all in one car, and we were talking about like how he was telling us that we're responsible and we should all be doing something to further like a part of our mother's business,
Hmm.
or like the family itself. You know what I mean? So like he was saying that, like, yes, our mother has Young Lions daycare, but the 5 of us are the original Young Lions. You know what I'm saying? Like we're her original kids. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like that stuck with me. Like, that was a conversation we might have had maybe like 5, 6 years ago. So
Hmm.
that's something like he himself, like, so my name on Instagram is I am Young Lion too. He himself, his IG was I am Young Lion. I am Young Lion, like, period. Like that's
Hmm.
it. So Jeffrey D. Aguilar, he passed away January 20th of 2015. So like that is why my name on Instagram is I am Young Lion too. You know what I mean? So like, and that's why my name is Jalani Lion, because that's like me carrying on the torch for my older brother and different things like that. Like the brand that like my merch, my brand is Lion Hearted.
Yeah, I
Lion
seen
Hearted.
that.
Lion Hearted is a brand that he started that he didn't get to like carry out himself. He was gonna have me create the designs, the artwork behind Lion Hearted, like for the clothing and everything. But because he's no longer here, that's another thing that is like being carried on. You know what I mean? So it's like a lot of ties. There's definitely meaning behind the name and meaning behind the brand and everything like that. So it's all like
Interesting, interesting.
connected.
Yeah, because I was gonna ask where you got your name from. So
Yeah.
you're pretty much doing your best to carry on the tradition from your brother.
Yeah, because like, and it's funny, it's cool because he was, before I did music. Because like I said, I've been doing music for about 2 years now. He made this post, like his last post on Instagram is like bigging up people from the city, like 4 people from the city, because that's what he did the like best, like showed love to people, and that's what people remember him for, is like being that a good guy and showing love and all that. But he says, I believe he says something to the effect that like motivation is closer, like, than you seem. Like basically it's like under your nose or whatever, and
Hmm.
he depicts me in the post, like it's me, Tay Fisher, about he's a world renowned like basketball player now. This artist Velas, who also came from Kingston, New York, he's a songwriter, producer, artist of his own, doing his thing. And there's this another like dirty basketball player, super super nice. Well, like, and she's a girl, and she'll kill any guy. Like I'll put my money on her, any guy. Rachel Coffey. So basically, Well, my point by saying that was that he was proud of me then, like before he passed. So like now that things have gotten better, things have like heightened, like everything has just gotten like tenfold. I know that he would be super proud of what's happening and what's like going to happen in the future. So I
Definitely.
know I'm doing my part, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, definitely, man. And I'm sure if he could look down on you and see everything that you're doing now and just the steps that you're taking, because like I was saying earlier, I think one of the most important things, bro, is when we're trying to do these things and be creative and step outside of the box, you just got to take steps forward. You know
Of
what I'm saying?
course.
You'll end up where you end up, but the most important thing is getting up and taking steps forward. So I commend you for, like living on through his legacy and doing everything you can to keep his name alive. And, I'm sure he would definitely be proud of you. So I want to thank you, Jelani, for coming on the podcast, man, and sharing your story and
Anytime.
talking about your music and everything. Let everybody know if they wanted to get your music or if they wanted to get in contact with you, how would they go about doing that?
If you want to get in contact with me, like my Instagram is where a lot of like quote unquote magic happens. Like the Instagram is where I post my art. The Instagram is where I post my music videos, my daughter Genesis. It's just like the stopping grounds for everything that I do. So my Instagram is at I am Young Lion 2. So like IAMYOUNGLION 2. And then my artist name is Jalani Lion, JALANILION. And you can find my music on Apple Music, iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, Amazon Music, just about anywhere you can find certain singles. But then everything that I've dropped goes on SoundCloud. You know what I mean? So it's like just take your pick of what is your favorite platform.
Definitely, definitely. So everybody, if you're out there, man, please do me a favor and check out the brother's music. I was able to listen to everything that he's been able to put out, and I was, really impressed by it. So if you get an opportunity, go buy the music, stream the music, go on YouTube, check out what he's doing. Go to his Instagram page and see some of the art that he does. If you need, album covers, because I've seen some really dope album covers on there. If you need album covers, if you need any type of art done, reach out to my brother. I'm sure he can help you. So I want to thank everybody.
So Harrison,
Yes, yes,
so sorry to cut you off. I just want to tell you before we get out of here. Like
yes.
again, I super appreciate what you're doing tonight. I'm super appreciative of what you do for like the culture, our culture, for Black people, melanated people. Like I implore you to please keep doing what you're doing because it definitely has an impact and it definitely does matter. Like I know, like you said, because like maybe finances might not be there, whatever. Like whatever you might run into, it may seem like pointless or like there's no reason to be doing it. Like what am I doing this for? But like trust and believe, like we're damn near strangers, and I'm telling you, like this is definitely important, and I truly hope that it like gets higher and higher as time passes. You know what I mean? So just thank you very much for like bringing me onto your show and spreading light onto the important subjects like R. Kelly and the Black-owned ramen noodles and everything that is going on like under the sun with us. So I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Definitely, Jelani. And like I said, I appreciate having you on the show, bro. Just keep grinding, man, and doing what you do.
I got you.
Everybody out there, reach out to the brother if you can. This has been another episode of the Melanated Convo podcast. You can find the podcast on the website, which is melanatedfathers.com. You can find the podcast on YouTube, which is Melanated Fathers TV. On YouTube, we're on SoundCloud as well under Melanated Convo podcast. Instagram page is at Melanated Fathers 100. Twitter is at Melanin 100. Connect with us. Go to the website today, melanatedfathers.com. You can check out a lot of the news stories that we post. You can check out a lot of the information about people or places that are really important in our history. We have a book of the month that we put up. So, different articles about parenting. If you're going through something, you can probably find an article on there that can assist you. So we're just trying to do everything we can to keep our families together and just be as informative as possible when it comes to issues that we deal with in our community. So I want to thank everybody for tuning into another episode of the Melanated Convo podcast. We out.